And if you don't want to leave, under no circumstances walk through my door. Then if you have the guts, if you got the courage, if you got the capacity, if you got the temerity to actually walk in my class, you take 5 steps. And you turn to the right and you see another sign. And that sign says mediocrity is not standing in this class. Now you can be mediocre someplace else, but you can't be mediocre here. Now who in the world taught me that? Rachel Robinson. Here I was, I had a chance to interview her twice. I said, Ms. Robinson, what was it like being married to the man who broke the color barrier in baseball? She said, well, Jack only lived by one rule. And I said, what is that? Excellence is the norm, not the exception. Excellence is the norm, not the exception. So what makes these individuals different? Number one, they dream big dreams. I don't care if they call you weird. I don't care if they call you crazy. I don't care if they come with you all those fiery darts and cynicism. You keep dreaming big dreams. You keep dreaming big dreams. Because it's the hallmark of the game of life. The game of life is not like any game you ever played. Why? Because there's no opponent. Really, there's only one opponent. And who's that opponent? It's you. It's you. And you never make money the goal. Money is not the goal. It is the correct and wise use of your money that's the goal. And that's what we're learning right now, Black America. Last year we spent $1.4 trillion. $1.4 trillion. There are 195 countries that belong to the United Nations, all but 30 are democracies. And when you look at those 160 some odd countries, Black America is number 16 in terms of your wealth. Let's give up. What in the world do you say? You don't wear Gucci or Prada or Louis Vuitton. You invest in Gucci and Prada and Louis Vuitton. You make Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Prada work for you. So they dream big dreams. Number 2, they were inner-directed versus out-directed. They weren't so quick to believe well-meaning friends and family members who said, you can't do this, you can't do that. What in the world do you say? Henry David Thoreau. You walk to a beat of a different drum. Look, all great businesses, all great social movements, all great organizations, look, damn it, they don't start with the choir. The choir never gets it. The masses never get it. They start with the soloist. They start with you, with the power of your vision. The 3 most important business books that you can ever read. And you can go online and I got a sign in my classroom, according to Antonio Reed. Here I am with Antonio Reed. I'm in the Bahamas with this brother for a couple of days. And I said, wait a minute, let me wrap my head around this, Antonio. If you were babyface lived 10 lifetimes, you couldn't spend a quarter of the money you guys have earned in music. What in the world would inspire you to take 2 months out of your busy schedule to take an executive management class at Harvard? He said, well, Professor, so many people want to get in the music business, and they really need to understand it is a business. But I learned long ago, the moment that you cease to grow, the moment that you stop developing, you begin to die. And when he shared that with me, sign went up on my classroom. If you don't read, if you don't study, if you don't grow, if you don't develop, if you don't take good notes, if you don't go to the conference, the seminars, the workshops, if you don't sit in the front row, in that first seat, another student will.
Yes, sir.
And the day you meet that other student, well, damn it, you lose. You lose. You're walking distance to Coca-Cola. Go up down the 6th, 7th, 8th floor, the executive suites, and go over to the marketing section, one of the top brands in the world. And when you go to every cubicle, go to every office, you'll see that one book in the sweet spot. It's a sweet spot. You gotta be able to sell. You gotta be able to influence others. And last but not least, these folks flat out refuse to fail. Becoming a millionaire is not hard. But becoming a millionaire takes time. They flat out refuse to fail. Now, I can tell you when Tyler Perry told me about failure. I can tell you when Dave Stewart told me about failure. I can tell you when Kathy Hughes over a 2-day interview told me about failure. I can tell, man, I interviewed, 4 or 5 of all black millionaires? But what is failure? Failure is a lack of belief in yourself. It is a lack of belief in yourself. There's nothing to fear. You're as good as the best, as strong as the mightiest too. You can pass any battle test, but there's no one just like you. There's only one you in the world today, so nobody else you see can do your work in just a fine way. You're the only you will be. There's nothing you can do, you can and you will, for you're the invincible you. So set your foot on the highest hill. This is students who walk into Atlanta University, W.B. Du Bois, your #1 scholar, teaching economics. 9 years he was at Atlanta University. 9 years. He taught civics, he taught history. What is now sociology he taught. The man even taught Greek. 3 of the 9 years he was university chaplain. And the students, economics, there was no economics major, it was all arts and sciences. And they would walk into the class and say, good morning, Dr. Boyd. Dr. Boyd, did you have a good weekend? Dr. Boyd, what are we going to study today? Are we going to study supply and demand? Oh, we heard about that financial term, net present value. And the boy said, well, I'm going to study any of it. And he would pull out the Bible and would read scripture. Lord, who should I say sent? I am that I am.
I am.
What did God's name